You're so far away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? Sorry, that was just the things coming out of my brain out loud. Because everything is a song. Everything is a song. Every sentence is a song. That's not at all what we're talking about today. I wanted to tell a little story. Always. Get my little scrunchie off. Is anybody else so happy that scrunchies are a thing again? The first time I saw my daughter's little container in her bathroom full of scrunchies, I thought I went to heaven, because scrunchies, of course, back in the day, when I was in college, scrunchies were the absolute thing. So I know my girls out there, we all love us some scrunchies, don't we? Yes, yay, woohoo! So today, what I want to talk about, first of all, Satan has been coming at me this week. Whew. Does anybody have those weeks or those days? It's one of the reasons I have my glasses on. Oh yeah, I can tell. I even had myself a little cry this morning, and we're allowed to do that. We are allowed to have ourselves a little cry. We're allowed to shut the door and have a little, grrr once in a while. We're allowed to do that. So put my glasses on so hopefully it doesn't show quite so much. And all week long, well, in so many words, stand, I've talked about, stand has just been my word lately. Stand, no matter what, Amy, stand in confidence, stand in faith, stand on your foundation, stand in wisdom and knowledge, stand in hope, just stand. And that has just been, who would think, such a small word, and it just comes across, and it even came into here, and I was like, imagine that. So where I'm going to be reading from, and the things, most of the things that I take for life lessons are from the Bible, and great place to start just for motivation and daily thoughts, daily mantras, something to carry with you, things that give you strength, things that give you wisdom, is in the book of Proverbs. Just get a book of Proverbs and start reading a chapter a day, or start reading a couple of them a day, and write one down and put it in your pocket. Write it down in your notes on your phone. Take a screenshot of it and put it on the cover of your phone so you can see, a good thought to carry you through the day every day. Great book to do that with. So where am I at? I've been all over the place already. 1 Peter 5, 8. Just verses 8 and 9. And I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to just put it all, because Satan's been coming at me. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about. And when I sat down and read this again this morning, I was like, well then, Amy, once again, this is all for you, Amy. I'm going to try not to stop so many times, but it's almost each and every word in this is just like, bam, pow, whoa. Okay, so Amy, since we always start with our name, Amy. Amy, my dear precious Amy, be self-controlled and alert. Be self-controlled and alert. And that's like these two verses there's like a whole hour-long sermon. There's a whole book in here. There's a whole book just in these two little things. Be self-controlled and alert, because of course we need to learn how to get there, right? How is it? Because sometimes life gets out of control. So, what are things we can do to learn how to be self-controlled and to always be alert? As a child who was molested as a child, when you go through traumas like that as a child, and I always want to say in there that, my parents knew nothing about it. My parents are wonderful, wonderful people. It had nothing to do with my parents, because they are everything to me. So I always want to make sure I throw that in there, because I know people's minds go all over the place. But when you've been through childhood trauma, you really are extra alert. And I know my PTSD counselor would tell me, I always had this habit of sitting in the corner. Like if we would go to the restaurant, I'd sit in the corner of the booth, because that way I could see everything. I could see around me. I could see what was going on. And I would, my first ex-husband, he would always joke around, because he's like, oh, we get in the car to go somewhere, and if we'd been there once, I would remember where it was. It didn't matter how far away it was. And he's like, yeah, Amy remembers everything. And it was, kind of a gift, but also funny, because who would think, right? And even when we would do things, I remember who was there. I would remember what we wore. I would remember all the details, the minute details that not necessarily you remember. So alert, be alert. That was a little aside about being alert. Self-controlled. And I had a few moments this week where, yeah, Mama lost a little self-control. I admit it. And immediately afterwards, I feel like, just why? Why did I, why didn't I keep it together? Why did I let those stupid thoughts just go blah out of my mouth? Why did I do that? So be self-controlled and alert and practice those things. Again, reading Proverbs, find things, read things, practice things. Practice self-control and being alert. That was only the first sentence, y'all. Okay, Amy, my dearest, be self-controlled and alert. Why? Because your enemy, the devil, prowls around like, that's the big word. Your enemy prowls around like, as, pretending to be, a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. So my big word in all of this was the word like or as. I should have pulled out some different, this is, I think, New International, I don't even know. I should have pulled out some different translations to see if there were other words to describe that. But your enemy prowls around like, not is. Jesus is the Lion of Judah. The devil, or your enemy, prowls around like, pretending to be, like a roaring lion. And I thought the roaring in there, because if you really truly are, and I love seeing those, the pictures of like the big lion behind the cub, mama lion behind the cub, or the Lion King dad behind the little boy cub. He didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to roar. He didn't have to make a sound. He didn't have to, all he did was just walk up there. While the cub's standing, the cub is standing, and then the lion, the true lion, just walks up behind him and stands there. Because he's the real thing. Satan's not the real thing. Fear is a liar. Satan is a liar. Your enemy is a liar. And don't be convinced. Don't be afraid. You stand. You stand, because he's an imitation. He's a fake. He's a phony. And you have the power. He doesn't have any power. All he can do, and I think about bullies, and how they puff up and they act all big and bad and tough, and most of the time they're not. Most of the time they're not. So stand, realize that your enemy is the one that has the fear. Your enemy is the one that has the insecurity. Your enemy is the one that is not real, doesn't have strength, doesn't have power, doesn't have the know-how. I'm moving this because it's still too far away. So your enemy prowls around like, pretending to be, as if. It's a big, bad, roaring, loud lion. And that roar, I think about, that scary, big, loud roar. But he's pretending. He's pretending. He's in a costume. That's not who he is on the inside. He is a fake and a phony. So he's roaring around, pretending to be a big, bad lion, looking for somebody he can devour. Because our enemy knows that if he can sneak into our minds, always goes to the mind first, right? And get that fear and have us start talking to ourselves and about that fear, or have all the big loud noise and start scaring us, then he knows he can devour us. Once he gets that little seed, that little gritty scratch in there, then he knows he can just keep going, and he can devour us because we gave in to the fake and the phony and the fear, and we didn't stand firm in who we are. And that's what's next. So he's looking for somebody to devour. Resist him. Stand firm in faith, because you know that there are others. There are other people. There are other women, children, men, boys, girls. There are others. You know that there are other people throughout this world that are undergoing the same kind of sufferings. And whatever it is that your enemy is attacking you with today, attacking you with this week, because, whew, like I said, I let myself cry a few tears this morning. It's been a week. Oh my gosh, it's only Tuesday. I don't know when you're going to watch this, but it's only Tuesday. Oh my word. Whoo-wee, what a week it's been already. So back to this. We know we're not the only ones. We are not alone. We're not alone. We're not the only ones, and we need to stand firm. Stand firm and resist the enemy. Resist that attack. Stand firm. Put your shield on. Put your armor on. Put up your guard and call in your guardian angels and stand firm, because our example, our standing firm, our not letting that fake, phony enemy work on our fears. We're not going to let him through. We're going to stand there and we're going to fight it, because we're not the only ones. We're not alone. And there are other people that are going through these sufferings. And what we've been through or what we're going through can absolutely help them to stand a little more firm, to hold a little tighter, to grasp a little more hope. So remember that. I'm going to read the whole thing because I just broke it all down before I read the whole thing. Be self-controlled and alert. Amy, Julie, Melissa, be self-controlled and alert. Number 1, come prepared. There I go, breaking it down again and not reading. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy prowls around like, pretending to be, a roaring lion, looking for somebody to devour. Resist him. Stand firm in faith, because you know that your brothers and sisters, that your people throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of sufferings. So you're not alone. Be self-controlled and alert. Read, study, get stronger in the mind. Remember that your enemy, he's a fake. He's a phony. That's why he has to roar so loud. And stand firm. Stand firm. You got this. We got this. Hope you have a great day. Amen, sister. And I'll talk to you guys soon.